Hello everyone, and welcome to Chapter 7 of Transformers Fall of Cybertron.
Finally, the breach is destroyed. Decepticons, the time to attack is now!
Wait, what? Starscream! Blast off their defenses! The transport's guns will shred you to bits!
I have no patience for your cowardice, Onslaught! Decepticons, it is time to reclaim the energon that is rightfully ours! Attack! Attack!
Idiot! Blast off, Swindle! Time to salvage this mess. We're moving into position now, Onslaught! Drive to the underbelly of the transport. See if you can't find a chink in the armor.
Your firepower is too much!
Starscream, what did you lead us into?
Just keep firing!
Ignore the slaughter. Get a move on, Swindle.
Yeah, Starscream's getting smacked real good.
So in this chapter we are playing as Swindle, who is voiced by Steve Blum.
So, how do I stop this thing?
Swindle, hit the back wheels. See what you can do to slow it down.
I'll blast the wheel struts.
Good idea. Take all four of them out and hurry. The detecting acid pool's dead ahead.
So while the previous chapter was very much designed around you flying around in helicopter mode, this chapter is all about you driving around in vehicle mode. Swindle transforms into a very heavily armed buggy of some sort. The level is big, wide open and full of dunes to drive around in. Not a lot of actual cover, so you're basically relying on driving around. Swindle's vehicle mode is armed with these homing rockets and also a rather interesting machine gun turret. In robot mode, his special ability is the grapple beam, much like Jazz, although the level isn't really designed for that, it's just sort of a nice little extra you have.
Back wheels are offline, but those acid pools are gonna make it tricky to get to the front.
Try using your grappling hook, Swindle.
Right, I'll blast me some Autobots on the way.
Careful, Swindle. That acid will eat you alive. You realize acid does more than just singe your paint job, right?
Now the auto-neutron gun is quite an interesting weapon. It's a machine gun turret, and it automatically locks onto enemies and shoots them. It just finds the nearest enemy and starts shooting it automatically. You can fire it manually. If you want to aim at the crosshairs, you just use the fire button and you'll just shoot directly ahead instead. You have infinite ammo. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's still pretty good. And if that doesn't float your boat, you can just ram into people. You don't take any damage from that, but for some reason it destroys them. I guess you just have a very hard head. You can see the gun is just sort of shooting the enemies automatically. I'm not even pressing any buttons. I'm not shooting at all. The gun's just doing this automatically. So as you can see, Swindle, his vehicle mode is very heavily armed. He has a lot of rockets at his disposal. Though he's nowhere near as overpowered as Vortex's mortar bombs. Now, according to the official bio for Swindle, Swindle is the greedy one. He has greed built into his personality components, whatever that means. He'll often scour the battlefield after a big fight to find any valuables or ammo or loose parts, and sell them on the black market. In the original cartoon, there was an episode where his fellow Combaticons got blown up, and instead of being a good guy and rebuilding them, he just decides to sell all their pieces for scrap.
Scratch one gate.
And then hilarity ensues when Megatron finds out he's sold all the Combaticons for spare parts, and, well, he's not very happy about that, so he makes them find all the pieces and put them all back together again.
Onslaught, Brawl, Vortex, Swindle and Blastoff. Each one a formidable force in its own right. Together, talk about the whole being greater than some of its parts. When the Combaticons combine to form Bruticus, Any Autobots in the vicinity are facing a whole world of hurt.
Oops, want to be careful. Don't want to get squashed by the wheels.
Onslaught, the front stretcher just ahead. Time to finish this thing off. Heads up, Swindle. More Autobots on the way.
Now, something I forgot to mention back in Jazz's chapter when we had the grapple beam. The grapple beam actually went through quite a few design changes before they settled on the final product. Originally, the grapple beam was supposed to be able to attach to walls and ceilings as well as the ledges. Apparently this was too confusing for all the players that tried it out there. Apparently it was too complex and people getting confused when they suddenly latched onto a wall suddenly. I want to run you over. Get back here. Oh, hang on. Oh, okay. Okay, that one guy managed to evade me completely. He shall be spared for now. Another thing they wanted to do with the grapple beam was it was supposed to have like physics on it, so you could swing about in it, like, I don't know, yeah, I guess like Bionic Commando or Tarzan or something. Again, this was a little too complicated, considering how short Jazz's campaign is. You don't really get much time to sort of get used to it, which I guess is a fair compromise.
Swindle, you're running out of road. You're going to stop this transport. You better do it now.
We've got a sticky rocket. You transform, it unsticks to you. These flying enemies are firing these sticky rockets at us, so you want to be careful about that. This entire area is big and flat, or it's kind of hilly, but there's not really much in terms of cover. So it makes driving around very easy, but it means that you're more susceptible to gunfire from enemy soldiers. Now these flying enemies are actually quite interesting, because not only do they shoot rockets at you from a distance, they also transform into robot mode, like there. And then they'll release an EMP charge, which will jam your systems. And now you can't grapple beam or dodge or anything like that. I point this out because they're kind of interesting in that they're one of the very few enemies in the game that transform. The other ones being the Guardians and the Snipers. The foot soldiers don't transform at all. And we were just introduced to a new enemy type as well, the cars at the very beginning, driving around. They don't change back into robot mode. And now we have to take out two Titans. So I'm just going to go in the other direction for a sec, go back a bit. Back to that area earlier where there was a crashed Decepticon dropship, and where it crashed it also happened to conveniently be next to a Teletran store. So we're going to go and equip ourselves to deal with the giant Titans who are now parading around underneath the transport. We've just got a new perk that means that our shield recharges faster, so that's handy. And we'll get the Scrapmaker. The Scrapmaker's quite good against the Titans. Yeah, even the Titans don't transform, even though you can clearly see they have tank treads on them. They're clearly supposed to transform into tanks. And there's concept art as well in the Fall of Cybertron art book. The Decepticon Leapers. They transform into jets. Their alternative mode is like a flying plane. You never see them do it in the game though. I think it really comes down to trying to make like decent AI in this game, because one of the things they said was they tried to improve enemy AI. In War for Cybertron you actually did have transforming enemies. And we got an intercooler in this locker, which is completely useless for us because we have the grapple beam. And I guess I'll point out that the minigun's quite useful for taking out his battle drones, because if he launches them, all you have to do is just aim a little bit to the side and you can destroy them before they can do anything. Anyway, as I was saying, in War for Cybertron, enemies would transform into cars or planes. The thing is, the areas you fought in didn't really have much chest-high walls, it was all just sort of wide open areas, so they could drive around and stuff. In this game, there's a lot of chest-high walls. Enemies are programmed to take cover. And I guess the problem comes then is that they couldn't really justify having an enemy soldier transform into a car while you're inside fighting in like a narrow corridor or something, and then having the car try and navigate the narrow corridor. And I'm getting hit a lot, so I'm going to make my exit. Again, the Titans are pretty dangerous up close, so if you stay behind one piece of cover, they'll slowly walk towards you, and basically, before they get too close, you want to make a quick getaway. It seems quite well designed, the way the game encourages you to move from cover to cover, and of course in a big wide open area like this, you kind of have to use your vehicle mode in order to get to the place quick enough. Now things have gotten a little more difficult because the game's decided to spawn more enemies. which makes things a little more complicated. Might be an idea to get some distance, and oh, what's this? Over here, there's a power-up. It's the Energon Recharger. This will be useful. Oh, homing mines! Homing mines actually have a brief delay before they explode, so you can do something about them if they get right up to you. We've destroyed one of the Titans, so that's good. We just have to get rid of this one. I'm trying to get rid of the other repair drone. And this car's wedged himself in the wheel. Sucks to be him. Alright, let's get rid of that. Yep, okay, his healing's gone. I have no idea how much he's been healed. I don't think it heals a lot. But hey, if he can get shields, so can we. Energon Charger, activate! Now I can just tank his bullets. Sort of. As you can see, we are taking damage, but it doesn't matter. Get some more ammo for the minigun. Fire away! That's how you do it. Both Titans are down. And since that chapter was only 10 minutes long, let's just move on to the next chapter. Chapter 8.
Swindle, take down those anti-aircraft guns. I need to bring the dropship closer. On it!
Why does it keep giving me intercoolers? They're useless for Swindle. Also, if you go back and have a look at that cutscene when I destroyed those Titans, you'll notice the wreckage is actually that of a Marauder. So I guess at some point in development, that boss fight was supposed to be a Marauder battle rather than two Titans.
Slow it down!
Combaticons Swindle identified. Munitions expert.
Okay, so we're still playing as Swindle for this chapter, but we're not in a wide open area anymore, we're now inside the transport. So this will be a more close quarters affair.
It is doubtful that you will survive Starscream's leadership.
Oh, thanks for the confidence boost, Teletran. So yes, now that we're inside the transport, we are now in a more sort of traditional shooter scenario. Some ledges, corridors and things like that. Also we're several thousand feet in the air, because the transport can fly apparently. Yeah, it's a lot more cramped, but that's not going to stop me from trying to run people over.
Crazy!
Now you might have noticed that we are several thousand feet above ground, but if you do fall off one of these ledges, you do not die. It is just like Jazz in the other chapter, where he'll automatically grapple onto a ledge. So you don't have to worry about platforming so much in this game. And here's a new heavy weapon that I haven't really tried yet. It's the Gear Shredder. It fires out saw blades that bounce around everywhere. You can charge the shot and fire 3 blades at once as well. Does a decent amount of damage, slices guys in half like so. It's okay, I guess. I mean, the main thing is that it bounces. It's kind of hard to hit people with it. And I guess it's more... Oh, I thought there was a guy here. Yeah, it's probably more useful in really narrow corridors where you can bounce the blades easier. Interesting thing though, is in the Fall of Cybertron art book, it actually says that players can just hold the blades in the weapon and then use their melee attack for increased damage. I've tried this and it doesn't work, so I guess the art book was just lying.
Swindle, you should be able to reach the anti-air cannons from the catwalks along the outside of the transport.
I'll get those guns offline.
The only other thing that the Gear Shredder has going for it is if you kill an enemy with a bounced blade, like after it bounced, you get more energon shards from the kill. Other than that, though, I'm not really a huge fan of that weapon. It seems a bit too situational for my liking.
Seldom have I felt more vulnerable on a mission. I think my fellow Autobots feel the same. Here we are, wheeling a slow-moving slug of a transport loaded with highly unstable, incredibly explosive energon through heavily contested territory in broad daylight. Oh, and did I forget to mention that if we do encounter Decepticon resistance and this powder keg blows, it won't just be our metallic hides that burn up in the Inferno, but the entire future of every Autobot.
Question. The transport can fly. Why did it just do that to begin with?
Probably takes a lot of energy to float that hunk of junk.
Really? Because if you calculate its total mass and...
Focus, Swindle!
Decepticons, this is Starscream. The mission is lost. Abort! Abort!
Abort! You've got to be kidding, Starscream! It's only a matter of time before we disable the transport!
There's a thing I've been meaning to bring up, actually. On the subject of the Transformers, one of the biggest themes in the game, or in the series, I guess, is that they're going through an energy crisis. They're running low on energon, so they need to leave the planet of Cybertron to find more sources of energy. That's kind of the entire premise of the show. The thing is, even though the Transformers are like a race of high-tech robots, their technology seems highly antiquated and like energy inefficient by like human standards. I mean, this transport's sort of an idea of that because, you know, it's huge, it's basically a giant gas guzzler, it's extremely energy inefficient. But even other things they use, like the one thing that sticks out in my mind is in Chapter 2, when you first meet Perceptor. He's standing on some kind of like rocket platform to fly around the room to use his computers easier, and I'm just thinking, like, do you really need a rocket-powered platform just so that you can get to your computers easier?
I can't figure out for the life of me who's the bigger idiot. The lunkhead who came up with a design that exposes live ammunition rounds on the exterior of the cannon batteries, or me, for agreeing to stand out here and load the things. What's got two thumbs and no apparent capacity for intelligence? This guy.
And on that same subject of like them being extremely antiquated in terms of energy, I find it kind of funny because like in the original cartoon, a lot of the episodes focused on the Decepticons stealing human technology to make energy for themselves. And it's like, you guys really couldn't think of like a solar power station for yourself? It's like the humans would make like a solar satellite to generate more power, and then they're all like, we'll steal it and create all the energy we need, and then we'll return to Cybertron. Still one guy alive. Gotta go over there and finish him off. Because he's just gonna hang over here like a dick and shoot me from a distance so I can't use the lever. Nice little touch though is that when you're outside, the wind blows away the body parts.
I'm getting my hands dirty.
Swindle! You get the first anti-air cannon yet?
Yeah. As soon as I figure it out. Maybe if I just blow all the shells.
Well, that tape cassette earlier was talking about the shells being on the outside, and this is what he was talking about.
One of these at home. Onslaught! First gun offline!
Two of them, genius! Head around the back to hit the other one!
Never that simple.
I'm pretty sure there's more than 2 anti-aircraft guns, but well, as far as we're concerned, there's only 2 we have to take care of, so we're going to the other side of the ship to blow it up.
Detecting Swindle, Origin of Renown.
And let's equip another weapon here. Let's equip the rocket launcher. Something that's somewhat decent for long range, because my subsonic repeater and the pulsar cannon, well, they're not exactly long range weapons. If you look behind us, there's some extra energon shards. Always handy. You sort of have to time your grapple beams so you avoid the fire. Doesn't seem to do that much damage though.
Stop messing around, Swindle, and use your booster!
Perimeter recon report. Base, this is Recon Combaticon 1-1 Alpha. We're all quiet on the Western Front out here. No hostiles dotting these clear blue sky. Ow! What the? We just passed in front of a vent and took a 10-foot exhaust flame right in my unmentionable.
Now, what do you mean when you say unmentionables when you're a robot, exactly? Whoops! I guess that could have gone better. Grants a quick boost of speed. Yeah, apparently not quick enough.
Stop messing around, Swindle, and use your booster!
I guess I need to time it better. Alright. And, alright, let's time this a bit better now. Oh, hang on. I think, yeah, the checkpoint was before I opened this locker, so I want to replace my intercooler. Oh, okay. Oh, we can have a beacon, that'll do. Okay, let's time this properly this time. Is this really the fastest you can go? Hurry up! Okay, we made it this time. Yeah, Swindle's car may be packing a lot of rockets, but it's not speedy like Jazz.
Seriously? We're still trying to board this thing with dropships? I haven't stopped the AA guns yet!
Think of this as an encouragement to hurry the scrap up!
Disable the shield controls! Onslaught! The Autobots are sabotaging the shield coupling!
Thought they might try that. Already on our way.
The shield controls look fried! We need another way to break through. Any ideas?
Jump on the dropship and man the cannon. See the shield hold up to that.
Now that's what I'm talking about!
Okay, I'm taking a lot of damage here. So I do find it weird how you can find yourself just taking a lot of damage very quickly and very suddenly. Like, just seemingly out of nowhere.
Swindle! Quit messing around and hop on the dropship turret now!
Well, that's what I get for being on hard mode. You don't actually have to kill anyone here, because the shield controls are destroyed, so you have to instead jump over to the Combaticon dropship.
Swindle! Take that gun out now before it takes us out!
Okay, so this is like the only other turret section in this game. You're on this dropship and you have to destroy the anti-air cannon. You use the left and right buttons to strafe. You have 3 lanes. You have like the middle, left and right sides. You see me moving between the 3 different positions. The gun sort of aims where you were standing, so it's not too hard to avoid it. But yeah, you have to be careful not to have your ship destroyed. The only thing is you can't see how much your ship is damaged. Like, it's different from your own health bar, so you have no idea how close you are to exploding. I mean, the ship's sort of on fire, so I guess it is a bit damaged, but generally you might not realise that you're about to die. So just avoid the cannon fire and you'll be fine.
We need to take control of this ship. Combaticons, combine into Bruticus.
Bruticus online! Ready for action!
Hold the bridge!
And behold, the Combaticons have Voltron together to make a giant robot known as Bruticus, voiced by Nolan North.
Thing is huge!
You have a few attacks at your disposal. The special attack is the Sonic Pain Wave attack. Just basically makes a giant blast in front of you. You hold the control button and you bring up your shield, which protects you from gunfire. You can punch things with your primary attack button. You have a basic 3-hit combo, like so. And when you have your shield out, you can use the left mouse button to shield bash, which is sort of a quick attack, sort of, while you have your shield equipped. Now, as well as having your basic melee attacks, if you hold the right mouse button, you have the flamethrower, which is like a ranged attack. Does pretty decent damage, although I find it hard to know exactly where you're aiming. There's no crosshairs or anything, and for some reason it never seems to be aiming quite where I'm pointing. Alternatively, you can just walk over enemies, and that usually kills most of them. Now, I'm not sure if this is intentional, but I have this little trick I found out, which I call shield cancelling.
This is too easy!
You can basically cancel out of any one of your animations by bringing up your shield, so normally you have a bit of recovery time after each punch. So instead I can bring up my shield, cancel straight out of punching someone, and then immediately reset my combo. You can sort of abuse this to attack faster than you normally would.
He's after the turbine! No, it's just in my way!
But yeah, as you can see, there's not really much to Bruticus. I mean, nothing really poses any real threat to you. I mean, I guess if you don't kill the enemies fast enough, they can kill you, because there's not really any cover, and your shield only covers your front, so if you're surrounded by enemies, they might be able to kill you, but generally, it's just a mindless, explosive power trip.
Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. The control room is just ahead.
Get those flaps lowered so we can fire!
So over there's the end of the level. They lowered the flaps so the turrets can shoot you, but if you walk on these switches next to the flaps, they come back up. So if you're having trouble stopping those cannon fire, you can just bring up the shields and recover your health behind one of these flaps.
Don't let that thing take control of the ship!
And over there is the end of the level. The Bruticus section is pretty short, which is just as well really, because, you know, if you had an entire level of Bruticus, it would probably get a bit boring, since nothing really poses any kind of threat to you. It doesn't outstay its welcome. It's nicely done. It's a really satisfying way to end the chapter. It's like you've had your main course, and here's your dessert. Go have some fun, you silly goose.
Are you even aiming at me? Knock, knock!
Retreat! Retreat!
Yeah, that's how I react whenever I see Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on my door. I just yell, "Retreat! Retreat!"
Combaticons! I told you to abort! The mission is lost! Are you to defy me?
I've heard enough of his orders. We're going down!
Once again, this is entirely our fault.
Grab hold of the flight controls. Engines are shot, Onslaught. Best we can manage is a controlled crash. Then manage it. We're too steep. Pull up. I'm trying. Brace yourselves.
Congratulations, Onslaught. As a result of your failure to obey my orders, you and your Combaticons destroyed half of the energon supply in that crash.
Kidding, Starscream? The Autobots would have taken it all. My team salvaged an operation that you screwed up from the get-go.
No one addresses the leader of the Decepticons in such a manner. Arrest them!
And that's the end of Chapter 8. See you guys next time for Chapter 9.
Swindle, you get the first anti-air cannon yet?
Yeah. As soon as I figure it out.